welcome. Season 41, round 2, and this is the number one rated cycling podcast for Tuesday night Heffron cycling in the world. And it is a pleasure to join us for that, Mr. John Sunday. Good evening, John.
Hey, Alexi.
And Mr.
Good to be back.
Vaughan. That's right, and Mr. Vaughan McVilly stepping up again. I'll be tonight's host, Alexi Kalis, filling in for Paul Craft. But of course, it was week 2, another spectacular season of cycling. Look, I don't know where to start, so maybe I'll hand it over to one of you fine gentlemen. Where do you want us to go? Where do you want to go this week?
Well, I think it sounded amazing. We'll start by saying that, but we probably should start with just how many riders did we end up on the start line, John?
Yeah, phenomenal week. We all got excited in the opening week last week. We thought, what a great night. The sun was shining, great racing, sort of unexpected result with C-grade. But something about Tuesday night just went up another level. We had 30 more riders on the start line. I thought the number of people on the sideline had doubled from the previous week.
Quadrupled.
Yeah, even. And let's give them a shout out right at the very beginning. A new cycling coach for Ainsworth, former Alula Green Edge rider, Daryl Impey.
Daryl Impey was on the sideline.
Yeah,
no doubt
Daryl's been living in Sydney the last couple of years, and it was his first time to come down to Tuesday night racing, and he was impressed. He was really, really impressed with it.
I think he was disappointed he didn't get the chance to race it when he was in his prime.
Yeah.
Well, then he's what's he got? He's got a yellow jersey. He's got a couple of
he's got a couple of the ochre jersey for the Tour down
Yeah,
under.
that's right. Yeah, he's got a couple of ochre jerseys. He hasn't got a Heffron though.
Exactly. So he's literally won the second biggest bike race in Australia by winning the TDU.
I think he stood on the sideline.
Has not won a Heffron though, so yeah, I reckon he's kicking. So I actually wouldn't even be surprised if he just starts training, just see if he can come back and add the actual.
Judging by the look of him, I don't think he'd have to train very hard.
No,
but yeah, it was just a great night. I thought it went to another level. The wind was relatively benign. A little bit of an easterly coming across the left-hand side of the finishing straight. Big numbers started, big numbers finished. And hey, how about the handicapping? My God.
Once again. Well, it depends. I know there's some people that say, I can't believe it last lap. But I'm just going back to Daryl. Do you reckon he went home going, feel the rush? And kind of just singing, like he just thought he was back at Tour Down Under. He thought, these Aussies, they know how to race. It was a huge number, but I think week 2, seeing how the race unfolded, and when we look at the finishing number of riders who finished the race, I'll have to pull up my stats here.
73 out of 103.
So 73, but we had 33 starters in C grade, 8 finished this week. And
that's because they got caught by B grade with about 3 to go, and B grade were on fire. Biggest bunch of the night.
Absolutely. They had 40 starters. But I think what I loved about it, and I think it was good that it happened so early season when you have 8 riders finish of 33, suddenly a lot of C grades probably had a bit of an ego check. Because I thought during the second week there were a lot of people thinking, I'll just go solo off the front, constantly attacking the bunch, trying to win with 5 laps to go, thinking they'll be able to have the magic of round 1 and simply ride along and win so easily. Because they suddenly have realised when B grade come along and catch, it's another level. And that pace goes up
especially
again.
on Tuesday night when there were so many strong B graders. And also, quick shout out to the 2 riders that who were first and second last week. Well, first and third, I should say. Titan Edged in Black and Ethan Alam. Both stepped up to B grade and did not look out of place.
Not at all. Not at all. Well, Titan ended up being 4th in B grade for crying out loud.
Yeah.
What a rider.
Well, 14th across the line. And that's, great ride by him.
Absolutely. And just, like C grade need to have a bit of a hard look at themselves. They've got like a junior female finishing third. Lucy Allen pulled turns all night and she was able to finish. Lexi, what's going on?
Look, that is just
She was one of the 8.
She was one, but also she is like one of those riders, Hugo, who's now learning, has the experience of Heffron. She's done it. This is her second season, and he's just learning that if you keep rolling at the front and keep your position up there, you're just so much safer for when stuff goes.
Yeah, and surprisingly, it's easier as well.
Well, I've got something on that.
Says the guy on the sideline.
I got something on that. So my rider, Nico Love, the Love Machine, who was racing A grade, second ever Tuesday night Heffron. First round Tuesday night Heffron, hung at the very back. I was pretty concerned about the amount of watts that he was wasting. I asked him politely if he could try and move up at least 6 to 8 spots.
How did you convey that message to him? Because I had a message from someone who will remain nameless that was in the race. And it went along, what the fuck was Vaughan trying to tell Nico to move up from last wheel for?
Well, I can tell you because I now have the numbers. So this week, there was a stronger wind. The average speed for A grade was up by nearly 2 full kilometres per hour. Nico had less watts and lower heart rate than he did in week 1. Which just proves to you that being at the back and getting snapped with the old lucky band, getting dropped off the wheel, just being a little bit further forward, you can save quite a large amount of energy. And he ended up finishing quite well, finishing 12th in A grade, in his second ever A grade. So keep that up, Nico. Love your work.
Yeah, because Skeletor, who finished second on the night, Jack Bennett, he did say that he didn't think A grade could go much faster than what they did on Tuesday night. They were motoring.
Booty.
And yet still, even at that space, I think before the race, John and I had kind of commented to each other, we weren't thinking that many A-graders would kind of be there at the end. And so yet we still had 29 of 31 finished.
We were trying to balance out the handicap, and I had suggested it's a very similar sort of scenario to that last race of the season last year. We had a massive B grade and they rode away and won it. Although we had 30 A-graders on the start line, I suggested that only 25 of them would be, providing the horsepower. And in fact, on reflection, I think it was more like 15 of them that were providing the horsepower. And it was the big engines, Jeff Rickards again, Scotty Law, Will Clark, Tommy Gray. Some of the turns they were doing were really, really impressive.
Anthony Shippard's cranks nearly bent at one stage when he was coming down, barreling along that straight. I can give you some quick times early. So the A-grade boys rolled out. They did a 2:44, and then they went 2:40, 2:40, 2:40, 2:38, 2:40. So straight out of the gun, it was a full gas attack. Yeah. As a comparison, B-grade went out 2:47, and then they did a 2:48, a 2:51, and then it was a 48, a 49, a 48, a 49. C grade went out at a 3:02, and then they just sat there at 3:01, 3 flat, a 3:03, a 3:01.
That's good. They're good times for C grade.
Yeah, so it sort of feels like that we've got by round 2, we got to where we were at round 7 or 8 last year. So I think it provides quite well for the rest of the summer series.
Mm.
Yeah, they're almost going too quick. It's too fast. I tell you what, then, when you then look at some of the strong riders, I know I think Paul Kraft said he gets Rider of the Week vote for him this week, but Benny Coates.
What?
Now, if you happen to watch Ollie Penney's video, Benny Coates hits the front pretty early and goes, I'm going to say too much work, and tried to almost launch himself and pulled the A-grade bunch for the halfway round. Do you think he was working for himself there, or was he thinking... he was working for someone else, because someone's going to have to explain to me how all these new teams are going. Because has Jack Bennett gone solo? Is ZCC, are they gone?
No, Jack's in the chop somewhere. You can be sure of that.
But who's he riding for? Who's riding with him?
There's teams, and then there's hidden chops, right? And that's That's another language, and I can assure you that Jack is reading that language pretty good.
So
Just on Benny Coates, when Daryl was on the sideline, we were talking about some of the younger riders, and he made the comment that he thought that Benny actually looks bigger on the bike. And I started watching Benny coming down the straight, and you think how little that Benny was like 2 or 3 years ago when he first started coming down, or even when he used to ride down and watch when he wasn't allowed to race. He was like a midget. He was smaller than Willie Heff. But I thought that just goes to show how much more maturity, confidence, power, and strength that he has. And you could see that he was really in control and command of those turns that he was pulling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so for those that don't know, why was Brad McGee, the N-Swiss coach, why was he there on the day, besides watching and taking in the atmosphere?
No,
of
he wasn't. Daryl Impey was.
Daryl
Yeah.
Impey. Who did I say?
Pay attention.
McGee.
McGee.
Yeah.
McGee wasn't there. He had his former teammate or buddy there, Daryl Impey there. But why was Daryl there?
He said to me that he was wanted to come down and have a look. It's his first time he'd ever been. He said it's my first ever crit, which is not true because he first ever proper crit he won in 2008 when he was with Barlow World, the Jago Herald Sun Tour. There's some stats for you.
Yeah.
He wanted to come down, see the talent. He absolutely loved it, he said. So he'll definitely be back. And McGee, he's going to be coming down in 2 weeks' time. So we're going to have two absolute greats coming down to watch the best bike race in the world.
There's another great coming down soon, I hope. He's just returned to Australia this week after spending the last 15 years in the south of France in Monaco. And well-known sprinter, rode on the same team as Daryl Impey for quite some time, Caleb Ewan. So shout out to Caleb, and he's going to come back. Hopefully he wants to get away from his wife and kids one night and he come down and hang out with the boys.
Bring it on. That'll always step up the racing even faster. So on the night, though, we did have C grade had 8 finishes, as we spoke about, 33. I think if we kind of go through each of the grades and the kind of stand out, Lucy Allen, 3rd C grade, I mean, that's probably a bit of a cracker. And then the student of Heffron, a man who sat on the sidelines for the last bit of time, no doubt one of the junior riders, Charlie Smith, 2nd in his first week, 1st in C grade on the night, but most impressively, I think 8th overall at Heffron on Tuesday.
Well,
we did speak to him
I'll give you a
after.
stat on Charlie. So, like you already said, only 8 finishes out of 30-something starters. C grade get caught by B grade. They get quite a few of them get shelled. A grade come smashing through on that bell lap, and Charlie Smith, 8th overall, top 10. The only riders in front of him were A graders. He actually beat Paul Steckel, our new German friend, who won B grade. He was 1 place in front. And then you got to go 20 places back to Mick Stanton to find the 2nd place C grader in 28th spot.
So I think what you have to say is he's no longer there. He's not a student of Heffron now. We'll have to call him the Professor. The Professor Smith.
Young Charlie might have a timeline that's like a progress line that's going to be quite steep over the next week or so.
Yeah, I'm enjoy watching him in C grade because he's doing a lot of work. You can see him talking. He knows what he's thinking.
I did ask Charlie when he was on the podium to get his prize whether he had grown another inch since last week. I mean, Charlie's leg to body ratio is phenomenal. He looks like a young giraffe, but he's got some power and he's certainly got a kick on him.
I think if he sticks around in C grade for a little while, he'll earn a lot of money.
Yeah, I thought his ride was so good that Charlie will be lining up for some char grill in the very near future.
Yeah, very, very near future.
That was a great ride. That was a really great ride.
You want to take us through the results, Alexi?
Well, we've done that. So, if we look at C grade, obviously on the night we had 3rd place Lucy Allen, who was also wasn't our first female finisher. Michael Stanton was 2nd and Charlie Smith was 1st. So that was only 8 of 33. B grade had 40 riders start. They had 36 finish, which is a huge number. But the top three was Reece Williams of Sutherland. Second place was the Reece
No, no,
Nolan.
no. Oh, sorry, you're going backwards. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going
got it.
backwards. Yep, Reece Nolan, Southern Cross. And first place, Paul Steckel of East in his first podium. Then in A grade, which also took up our top three spots, we had third place Ollie Penney, second place Jack Bennett, and first place Kurt Eather, once again showing he is the fastest man alive. And as we've spoken about a number of times on this number one rated podcast for Tuesday Night Heffron, he's very quick. He's going to be very hard to beat.
Well, what was impressive about Kurt's win is you'll recall, I think it was just less than, it was in between, it's either the second or the last lap to go. Kurt had launched an attack to get across to the front group of B and C graders, and he did it completely on his own. He was 50 metres in front, then got caught by the A grade, the rest of the A grade bunch, and then still had enough strength, speed and power left to outsprint Ollie and Jack and Scotty and Tommy Bolton as well.
Second last lap, fastest time of the entire night was Kurt Eather with a 2:36. That was the second last lap when he went across to B grade through the front of B grade. He did a 2:36, so that was 2 seconds clear of the fastest lap of the entire night, and he did that pretty much all on his own. So, and then to get up and out gallop, a very fast finishing bunch, that was an impressive ride.
And we saw with Ollie Penny's video how much the weaving and how they had to get through that bunch to get that before they got the clear air. The other rider we have to acknowledge, and was our fastest female of the night, our national champion. She spent a bit of time in Europe as she spoke to us after the race, but that was Keira Will.
Welcome back, Keira. We missed you.
Top 10 overall in B grade. That got her ninth, which was also the fastest female of the night. So, she's certainly been putting in some off-season leg spinning.
Absolutely. And
she's not slowing down.
And Amanda Poulsen definitely had an issue in round one because she pulled turns in B grade all night. And I mean big, long, beautiful, powerful turns all night. She was so good.
Well done, Amanda. She had said to me before the race that she had a bad night in week one and she wanted to have another go in B grade. And I said, by all means, you go for it. You looked, you've certainly got the condition and the legs to do it. And came to me after the race and said, I think I belong in B grade. And I said, I can assure you, you do. So she was very proud and very happy, and so she should be. And well done.
And John, look, this is a question I don't know if you're prepared for, but a lot of new riders as well on Tuesday night with a lot of first timers.
Yeah, quite a few. Don't worry, I keep an eye on that. We had like 12 the first week.
While you have a look at it, I just want to tell the story. There was one poor bugger in C grade. They didn't even make it out of the Squircle on lap one before they were already out the back. We were coming because I often start slow because I'm videoing the start of the start line, and so I'm clipping in, and obviously I'm kind of chasing on basically for half a lap most of the times. And this poor bugger, kept looking back, thinking, mate, you got to get on, And by the time we got out of the Squircle, he was gone. So that was like
a big step up.
Actually,
25 new riders in the last 2 weeks that have never raced on a Tuesday night before, which is, is a big number. That's phenomenal.
Well, one of my favourite parts of the whole night is one of my new riders, Johnny Quads, the thunderous quads of Johnny.
Yeah, Johnny Q. Johnny he had a bit of a shock. Actually, I was thinking about Johnny.
Yeah, he did have a bit of a shock.
And where he might better fit in next week. And it's like I know how well Johnny can go, and you have to look at the size of his quads to know he's no stranger to go fast, turn left. But once again, Tuesday night, the intensity of A grade is a very big step up. But
my favourite bit was he got piped from A grade about maybe 5 or 6 laps in, and so then of course C grade were catching. And so one young Jimmy Allen launches out of C grade, and suddenly I'm trying to commentate, going, "What the hell's going on here?" Little Jimmy's on like Johnny Quads' wheel, and they're hammering down the straight. You got the A grader with little Jimmy Allen like locked on the wheel, and there's a bit of pandemonium there. I don't know what you were thinking back there,
Well,
Alexi,
you,
when that
you know who
happened.
closed that down, don't you?
Who?
Well, I closed it down simply to tell both of them,
The orange flag.
what are you doing? I'm like, I couldn't believe the A grade. I was like, mate, what are you doing? You've been caught by C grade. You're now attacking out of C grade. It was the most bizarre thing. And then I was sitting on the C grade, I was like, mate, what are you doing on his wheel?
I
You
loved
can't
it.
go with another grade at this stage of the race. Like, again, get to the back. You're out of it. And I think that was the end of C grade's race after those two. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Big Johnny, he's got big quads, but there's obviously not a lot happening upstairs because that was one of the most bizarre things I've seen in a number of years.
Hey,
Something
two,
like,
two weeks in a row.
We also had another international rider, Kieran Scanlon from Ireland. It was his first race. He had actually entered the week before and couldn't make it. And he said the vibe and the buzz was just fantastic. He loved it. So hopefully we'll see him back.
It was also great to see quite a few. I think there was three new guys from Centennial Park on Tuesday night. I caught up with Tommy Hyde after the race, and it was a Jack, one, and Jupiter. Jupiter
Yeah,
Seagull
well, it was
Graham.
Jupiter and Juan Lee that were the two new riders that hadn't raced. Jack had
And
raced
Jack
the
raced.
week before,
Yeah.
and I got a little bit of intel on Juan and Jupiter prior to the start, and I mean, once I saw them, I could see that they're quite strong. But yeah, just settle in, boys, relax, and you'll find your feet. And I'm sure that results will come your way. But they both performed well.
yeah,
Just
Jupiter
looking at
was
the
10th.
sorry.
Jupiter was 10th.
Yeah, he made the top 20. He was
Yeah.
sort of about top 10 in B grade, and Juan Lee was further back, about another 10 places. No, yeah, about another 15 places back. But once again, and of course, Leif, full of beans.
Full of beans, mate. I just love it. He's listening to us and he knows, mate, he's just going to keep flying off the front there. It's awesome. It's awesome to watch. When he came through again, he was still charging solo. He loves it. He's got to be one of the most aggressive riders in B grade. They must love him for it. The other rider, which I think rode very well and has, again, had that meteoric rise, Harvey Challinor. Got himself sixth.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Harvey's,
think
Harvey is first junior, not in the top. Yeah, Harvey's first. Yeah, congratulations, Harvey. You get the prize this week. Thanks to our sponsors from Harolambus Property. You get the junior first B grade envelope.
Boom, there you go. He edged his dad there behind him 15th. You know, these family battles, they're really starting to kick along. And also then, I know Pat Curtin, he's still got to collect one of his vouchers from week one. I saw that still sitting there. So that they, again, where'd Pat get 5th? So he's riding, he's at a second and a 5th now.
Yeah, there's it's sort of a collection of about a half a dozen B graders. Once again, just want to mention Paul, our friend from Germany, who's been in Sydney for a few months training with us, and it was his first time at Heffron. He was super strong during the night. But the two Reeses from the Shire, Reese Nolan and Reese Williams, they're neck and neck. I mean, I reckon those two are just shadowing each other. Titan next in the mix is first race in B grade.
That's a pretty good
like
result.
you mentioned, Pat Curtin in there, Harvey in there, Thomas Gerard, he was in there, and of course, don't forget Joel Zerb,
Yeah.
because Joel made
Nicely
the comeback.
hidden.
I think it was last year, and he's just gone from strength to strength. And of course, then Keira was in the mix there as well. So,
And I think Joel must be looking forward to launching some team kit because he was in his all green attacker. So I'm sure he's a financial planner, I think, by day, cyclist by night. So he'll no doubt be launching something, I'm sure, in the coming time. But yeah, you look at the strength of B grade. Like you kind of keep going through that finishers list. You then got Keira Will, Tom Hyde, is quick. Phil Tafe is regularly on the podium.
Hugo always up there.
Hugo, So you just start going, and then you jump over to A grade. I mean, it's all the usuals up there. But Andre Dubier as well. Will he be a regular? One of the Rowland team riders. We
Yeah,
know
I
he's
hope so.
very
Well,
quick
big
on the
finish, big
track.
finish from Andre, just out of the top five behind Chris Miller. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with that because there was a bit of a gap back then to half a dozen places to Gwen Evelyn and Jay Dutton.
Yeah.
Before the A grade finishes were very fragmented because they had to. It was only half a dozen. I think if you were in that top half dozen that got through at the beginning, you were up for the sprint, and the rest of them just said, "Oh, look, I'm happy where I am. I was just rolled to the finish." But a lot of contenders there for our award of the week.
Showgrill Charlie's Rider of the Week, indeed. Because, I mean, for grades to be averaging 42, 43, 41k an hour, whatever it is, lap after lap after lap, that means there's a lot of people doing a lot of work to keep that pace high. So, Vaughan, when you were sitting there you weren't on the hill this week. I think you were just on the sidelines, but who were you thinking was your Chargrill Charlie's Rider of the Week?
I said to it earlier, I think Charlie Smith's ride was actually outstanding, especially to be where he finished. I also thought Titan stepping up into B grade was like to finish fourth in B grade in your first B grade race and your second ever race was also absolutely epic. But I'm actually going to put Charlie Smith in for my Charlie's Rider of the Week because I just think that was an outstanding ride. And as you said, he beat all the B graders.
He did. It's a good pick, Vaughan. I'd been thinking about this, and last week's Ride of the Week went to Lucy, and I was very compelled to actually pick her again on the basis that she's actually won 3 awards. She
How do you figure that?
well, she got third in C grade.
Yep.
So there's a podium voucher from
Right.
our good friends at Cache. She is the first unplaced junior in C grade, so there's another
Okay.
voucher from our good friends at Harold Amber's Property, and she was second woman home.
Yes.
So she
Okay.
actually placed in 3 podiums, which I thought was pretty impressive.
Oh,
But
award
then I
ceremony's
thought,
going to go forever.
yeah. Then I thought Paul Steckel, Big Paulie, I was super impressed with Paulie's ride in B grade, first time ever at Heffron, and he pulls off a very strong finish. And also thought that Titan's ride deserved a mention, like you said, Vaughan. But Rider of the Week for me, I'm going to go for Charlie. I mean, head and shoulders above the entire C grade field and finishing the first finisher behind 6 or 7 A graders. So well done, Charlie. You need a chicken burger in you as well. You might grow another inch.
Look, I think it is hard to go past the Professor Charlie Smith because, simply to dominate the way he did, watch how well he rode in that C grade, but to finish so high in that bunch, and like you said, ahead of any B grader, and considering that when they were caught and how long he's had to fight for that position, that is super impressive. But along with that, I think Harold Amber's Property, it's almost like they're in on the game because I just think how well so many junior riders are racing at Heffron this season. I mean, you've obviously got Charlie Smith, you've got Lucy Allen. So they're the top 2 finishers there. Keira Will is also, I think, I think she's still an under 19s rider, maybe the second. Titan Edgerton Smith, he'd also be a junior. Harvey Challenor, top 10, 6 in B grade.
And
junior.
we also had a new rider there in B grade, young Jet Stokes. He had
Jet.
some DI2 issues, he told me after the race, but he
Yeah.
was still in it.
Still in. Leaf in Varnson, every week, bang, on fire, junior rider. I'm sure there's probably some others.
Oh, Charlie Patiste, don't forget Charlie. He was fourth across the line in C grade, so he had another good. Oh, and Ruben Shepherd.
Yep.
Ruben's first full ride in B grade. I think he might have had to go one once last season and didn't do so well. But
And
pretty impressed with
then you
Ruben's ride.
flick over to way grade, and you've got Andre Dubier. Pretty sure he's juniors. Is he a junior trackie? Is he?
Be on the cusp, I reckon.
He'd be on
I
the-
spoke to him after the race. I said to him that he has to bring his sister next
okay.
week. We need double the dupes. We need Anna and Andre there.
But that's
bring
right.
on the
Well,
doobies.
look, let's say he would qualify in my age. He'd be, if I saw him out, I'd say he's a young person. So he's riding super young. And then you obviously
Liam Galtman.
Liam Galtman. He rode well. Benny Coates was up there as well. He got Paul Kraft said he was rider of the week on his votes. Finn Kane, he's moving himself up on the A grade schedule. So I mean, you just keep going through. There's plenty of junior riders.
Zucchiati.
Yeah, Luca.
Exactly.
I thought he looked more comfortable this week too in the race. Had a stronger finish. Once again, goes home with no envelope, so
He'll be getting hungry.
for the Zucchiati family economy at the moment, going through a tough time.
But in the meantime, while the Zucchiati family, it's now the Smith family who are cashing in, because let's not take away. Let's be Charlie Smith. You are our rider of the week. Congratulations, Charlie.
Well done, Charlie.
Bravo.
I think we might get the height measuring board on the wall at Heffron just to make sure that you're not growing an inch a week.
And I assume he will stay. He'll stay in C grade, won't he? Like for a while. I mean, is he age?
If he pulls another performance like that, that was impressive. I mean, 20 places in front, and he was in effect sprinting with the A graders.
Be interested to see how he goes once we get a week of wind.
Yes. Well, interesting note on that, Alexi. It'll be interesting to see how everyone goes, because we haven't had any wind yet. And all you new riders, if you think, I've got my head around this Heffron thing, I don't know what all the fuss is about. Don't worry, the northeasterly is coming.
It's coming. We should also, don't we? I think we should try and get ourselves a sponsor from I don't know, a dentist or something, and have the oldest rider of the week, and we can if they could get a discount on some dentures or something. Greg Rule, would he have been the oldest rider out there?
Actually, I was just as you were saying that, I was just looking.
Michael Stanton.
Michael
he finished
Stanton
second. He might be up there.
Not the oldest rider of the week, but I did want to mention Liam Denver. I don't know what Liam's what Weet-Bix brand he's using at the moment, but geez, he had plenty of beans there with about 5 and 4 to go. So very impressive, Liam.
That's a good question. Oldest rider, yeah, because that's the thing. I mean, you all the Go Bike team.
Last year would have been easy. It just would have been Gino.
No, mate, he'll be back before you know it. So I suppose with that we can give ourselves the Spurge final lap, last lap thoughts. Gents, anything specific that you want to call out?
I want to say thank you to all the riders and the club volunteers who made week 2 so special. Great night's racing, exciting to the very last lap. Everyone went home with a big smile on their face, very happy, and no small thing. A lot of that goes to the club to making it happen every week.
Vaughan?
Agree wholly and solely with that, John. I want to say B grade, you're knocking on the door. You had one little slow lap late in the bike race until actually this happened when the two Robs came to the front and powered it on. They had the biggest sniff. Keep the faith, you B graders.
I would just like to follow on from John and say it's great already so far in season having all the volunteers, but all the spectators as well on Tuesday night made for a cracking night's racing, because I think people are starting to realise, get down there, take plenty of photos, there's plenty of great
and just
racing.
On the spectators, Alexi, what I noticed because you were busy racing, but I noticed the number of people who actually rode down to watch. So, hey, if you're out riding in Centennial Park and you don't have to rush home, roll down Anzac Parade and watch the race and ride home with everybody. It's a great night out.
Yeah, so I think, we had over 100 riders this week. There'll be more than 100 next week. The aura and the vibe continues to grow every week. With that, entries on Bunchier must be open.
Yep. Yes,
Edwin?
they certainly are.
Edwin got his entry in already?
No, Edwin, if you're out there listening, but hey, Edwin, I just want to say, I know how busy you are. You've reminded me 3 times this week how busy you are. But before you enter next week, Edwin, how about you enter last week first?
Gotta love it. So with that, of course, head on to Bunchier, tell your friends to come and watch this #1 rated podcast. And with that, what do we say?
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Yow.